Alright, this is weird because this is the first time I've done something like this on my channel, but I'm excited. Hey guys, Natt Gee here, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, it's not gonna be like something I've done before, but I'm super excited to start doing it because I love to read. So I want to call this little segment Natt Gee Reads. I'll figure it out, but like, welcome to Natt Gee Reads. Today we're going to be talking about She Just Wants to Forget. Is that right? Today we're going to be talking about She Just Wants to Be Forgotten. Wow, that's bleak. Today we're going to be talking about She Just Wants to Forget by R.H. Sin. I didn't know who this was when I picked up this book. I picked it up at Costco and I just was like, I like the cover. Anytime I see like brown skin or black hands, I'm like, ooh, grab that. Just because I obviously know it's probably by a person of color or implied that they're talking about black people, which always makes me happy, so I just pick it up. And the back was super interesting. So like the text starts off and then it kind of just fades away. And that really caught my eye when I picked it up. I kind of just jumped the gun and didn't even talk about the segment. So we're gonna be doing book reviews. That's supposed to be the little surprise, yay! So it's gonna be book reviews. I want them to be super short, no more than 10 minutes, and it's basically gonna be whether you feel like, not even you feel like, it's gonna be my take on the book, and then you can use that information to then either buy the book or not buy the book. That is definitely your choice. I will be making an effort to feature authors who are people of color. I just feel like that should be what I'm doing. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's what I want to do. I definitely want to put a focus on black authors, people who are not even black, but just persons of colors who are authors, just because I feel like a lot of times when we go into a bookstore, we don't see people of color on showcase unless it's Black History Month. That's not always the case. Depends on who runs the store, depends on who's, you know, what kind of books they are. But a lot of times, if it's just, even if it's not about like black people, but the person who wrote the book is black, you won't see them on showcase unless it's Black History Month. And I don't get it. It's just me, you and I are the same. We're writing a book. It could be the exact same book, just the girl's black. It could be just the author's black. And for whatever reason, these are found in a different section than, you know, the normal front store layout. So that's why I really want to focus on doing things like this. And I started with a small book. I'm actually not even done it, but you guys will find out why, so let's just jump into it. So R.H. Sin, I didn't know who he was when I picked up the book, or it didn't click who he was until I decided to Google him before making this video. He's that Instagram poet. I will insert his Instagram and some pieces, some really popular things that I might have seen it. As soon as I Googled him and I saw like the text, I was like, oh, I know who that is, and I shouldn't have bought that book. And I'll tell you why. I love poetry. I used to write poetry, and I really feel like the niche of poetry that I like, he does not write. So that is why, as soon as I figured out who this was, because when I picked up the book, I was like, oh, cool, poetry, black author. I'll just read it, it'll add it to my collection, cool. But once I figured out who he was, I was like, that was a bad idea. Either way, I'm not upset that I spent my money on a book. I feel like it's always good to add things to your collections, whether you like them or not. It's just what it is. You read it, and I'm still gonna finish this. I'm probably gonna finish this tonight. It's not that much. But he writes a it's like almost relationship advice. And as someone who, I don't know if it's because I'm in a relationship and I've been in a relationship for 8 years that I feel like it doesn't apply to me. I don't know. Or because it's coming from a man and I just don't want to hear it from him. Like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, his writing just doesn't appeal to me. If you're someone who's already a fan of his, you might love this. If you're someone who's been through a really bad relationship or you're going through a bad relationship right now, you might love this. I just feel like there was nothing for me that actually pulled me into the content. I can't connect with it. And that's why I'm struggling. It's not a long book, roughly 200 pages. And when I say 200 pages, it's like a paragraph and then like really small, like it's not a long book. But I feel like it's either the poetry's going over my head, I don't know if it's too deep for me, or maybe it just doesn't apply, but some of it just doesn't make sense. And that's why I don't follow him, and that's why I didn't follow him, and that's why I didn't repost his, like, people used to, like, I feel like it was a year or two ago where people would really repost his like quotes and stuff, and I was just like, I don't connect with this. Like some things yes, but a lot of things no. Like I just don't think that this book was warranted. This could have been a section in a book. And when I googled him, I also realized that his wife is also a writer. So I also feel like she should have said something about this. So let's jump into what this is about. She Just Wants to Forget is about a girl, from what I'm getting, who's been through a really bad relationship, and they're little like notes from the author, the male author, to a female who's been through this, basically just telling her to forget it. Like, you need to forget it, you need to move on, you need to forget it. And I'm not I'm not the one to say you need to remember, you need to stay there. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just feel like the way it's said, it doesn't connect with me. Like that's the easiest way I could put it. I also just don't like the title. She Just Wants to Forget. I feel like anyone who's been through something bad, I've been through a bad relationship too, I would never forget that for the world, because if I forgot that, then I'd make that same mistake again. And I feel like this should be like, she should remember. She just wants to remember. She needs to remember who the she is. Like, that's what this should be called. Because personally, you could say the same information, but even that would set the tone to me to say, yeah, I really do need to remember that I'm that bitch. I'm that person who shouldn't be in the situation. For you to tell me to forget everything I just went through when I just went through it, no. Like, I need to remember that I am above all this stuff. Let's get into some quotes real quick, because there's some things that I just feel like are great, and there's other things that I feel like I could have done without it personally. Like, I like this little poem. And it's about weak men cheating, and I'll just read it. Weak men cheat, weak men lie, weak men make no effort, weak men cause confusion, weak men deserve none of you or anything you have to offer. Weak men will read this and be offended, weak men will read this and never change. Stay away from weak men, do not waste your strength on a man too weak to love you. That snap, 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 snap. Like, that's good. Like, I like that stuff, and I feel like from his perspective, that's great. But then there are some moments where I just feel like I don't know what I'm reading. Like, am I reading a poetry book, or am I, like, I don't know. So there's this other one, and he's just kind of like, let's create new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of approaching life and relationship. Can we stop encouraging women to stay with mates who aren't worthy of their affection? Those lists in magazines that give women tips on how to maintain relationships should actually be teaching women how to let go of one that no longer makes them happy. Do these publications even realize that by providing tips in every issue for women to follow, that they're actually making women out to be the issue when she really isn't? That's a fact, and I don't disagree with that, but I'm reading a book. This feels like a personal journal or a conversation that he's had with like friends. I don't need to read that. Like, give me content that I'm actually supposed to be absorbing, whether it's a poem. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it, and I don't mean to be rude by saying I don't get it and I don't care to read it. That seems more conversational than something I want to read when I'm trying to take in poetry or something that should be held close to my heart. So then there's these other quotes, like not halfway through the book, but a good quarter in, and it's like, she's a wolf, but even wolves feel pain. Did I miss some? I get it. You're trying to say she's really strong. She can deal with this, but everyone, like, I get it, but it just reads as corny even too. Like, it's just not for me. And I want to give you guys, when I do these reviews, why you like just the points. Someone might really connect with that. I'm just not that person. Like, are these poems or are they quotes? And how do they connect with She Just Wants to Forget? I don't know if I'm also just not in love with the formatting of it. Like, I don't connect with this specific book at all. But like I said, there are really, really good points in here. Like, women are the fingerprint of strength. That's a really good quote, but I wish it was tied into something else. Like, I just don't, like, that's really just one page. That's written on one page, and I don't know how to absorb it. Is the whole thing a poem? I don't know. I feel like these are more so, like, this book is less poems, more advice. If you are someone who's been through something traumatic recently or are currently going through something relationship-wise, I would definitely say you can pick this up and you will have chunks of knowledge to pull from. And I think that they would really help you if you're going through that. As someone who is in a relationship, a happy one too, it doesn't fit in my life right now. Don't get me wrong, all relationships have problems and struggles. You know, everybody argues. Don't let me don't take that as me saying I never argue with my man or we don't argue. But to this extent, this is kind of bleak, and I think that's the thing of it too, is it's consistently bleak. I would love to get a peek where there is a happy moment. This whole thing so far to me is just sad, 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 sad. And when you're going through a relationship that's negative, when you're going through something that's not that great, you have to remember that there's something that's keeping that person there. It's not as easy as saying, just pick up and go. Because if it was that easy, all these women would have left. And I think that's what it's hard for like a man to understand. We would have gone. Like, nobody's trying to stay in this. If it's bad, I'm not trying to deal with it. I'm really trying to go. So you have to remember that there are high points and there are things that make somebody want to stay even when there's a whole bunch of other negative shit going on. So if he had touched upon that, I would have loved that, like a poem just talking about your happiness, talking about what you share, just love. Because either way, I'm one of those people that believes it's better to have loved than to have lost. And you have gone through that risk, and you took that risk, and you took that chance. You didn't benefit from it, but you're gonna cut your losses now. But either way, you're happy that you went through it. And I feel like that's what's missing from this are some high points, and I would love to see some high points or some poems about the high points, or even just the roller coasters, just talking about the fact that like men are trash, 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 men are trash. It's not constructive to me. Like, and I feel like if I was even going through this, it wouldn't be constructive or helpful to me. And that's just the kind of person that I am. But again, you may really connect with this and you may really pull some things from it. Personally, just not for me. I don't know if I'm gonna have a scale or anything in these videos, but it's gonna be on, it's a no for me, dog. It's gonna be on that end of the scale. I love the fact that he's a Black author and poet. I love that his wife writes as well, and they have a little family, and it's beautiful. And if you follow either of them on Instagram, their feeds are beautiful. And I feel like this is not his first book. So for me, maybe that's a poor introduction too, because he probably has poems and books that are about happy things and about things that I can connect with. But remember, I'm reading this book, and this is the book I picked up, and this is my review of this book. For me, I would say that it's not something that I would recommend to you. If you're anybody that knows me, or if you have personally taken a book recommendation from me before and you found that I was correct about my book recommendation before, then maybe you'll think that I'm also correct about this one. That's by no means to say don't support this author and don't support any of the other works that they do. I would say maybe test your feet, go on his Instagram, see what he's about, and then also take a browsing of his other works, because I believe this is either the second, third, or fourth. I don't remember which one, but this is definitely not the first book released. This is, I'm pretty sure, the third or fourth book that he's released, and I would maybe start with the first, the second, or the third. I just feel like it's a lot, like at least a bright moment for the character, and that's what I need. I need like something that's gonna like, but don't forget, like shit does pick up. But if this is meant to be that raw, gritty thing, and that's what he intended it to be, then I think that is up to you to decide if you want to read it. So thanks so much for stopping by my channel, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this book review. We touched on a lot of stuff and a lot of it's probably gonna be cropped out. But if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Also comment down below if you have any book recommendations for me. I already have my lineup set up for the next time I do this. I'm gonna try to do these like once a month, because then it makes sense, and also you get time to read and I get time to read. So if you're interested in reading this, or if you have read this, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Additionally, the next book that I'm going to be reviewing is Womanish by Kim McLaren. I'll put a picture of it here. I'm already like 2 or 3 chapters in and I love it. I absolutely love it. She's a Black author and she just talks about being a Black woman and going through things like dating, going through things like being friends with white women and how that feels. And I'm like I connect with it so well. I just love it. So if you want to read it, I already recommend it, but like we will talk about it in depth during my next Natt Gee Reads, and I hope to see you there. And as always, if you guys want to just subscribe to me, I will never be mad at it. So I'll put a button right here to make it super easy for you. And thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.